The long drought. Once upon a time, there was a small village. The village was in a green valley. Around the village were tall trees, small rivers, and beautiful flowers. The people in the village lived a simple and happy life. Every morning, the villagers woke up early. Roosters crowed, and birds sang sweet songs. The sun slowly rose, painting the sky with bright orange and pink colors. People smiled and stretched. "Good morning, another beautiful day," they said. Families gathered for breakfast. Children sat at the table with their parents. They ate fresh bread with butter or jam. Some had cheese, and some had eggs. They drank tea or coffee. Mothers said, "Eat well. You need energy for the day." After breakfast, everyone went to work. Fathers went to the fields. They carried tools like hoes and shovels. They worked hard under the sun. They planted seeds and watered the plants. Mothers stayed at home or worked in the gardens. They fed the chickens, milked the cows, and cooked meals for the family. Children went to school. They carried their books and lunch in small bags. The teacher welcomed them with a smile. "Good morning, children. Are you ready to learn?" she said. The children replied, "Yes, teacher." At school, the children learned many things. They practiced writing letters and numbers. They listened to stories and drew pictures. During breaks, they played games like hide-and-seek and hopscotch. They laughed and ran around. In the evenings, families gathered again. They sat in front of their homes and talked about their day. Fathers said, "The fields were good today. The crops are growing well." Mothers said, "The animals are healthy, and the garden looks beautiful." The children shared their stories too. "Today, we learned about the stars," said one child. Another child said, "We also played a new game." Families laughed, and the village was full of happiness. But one year, everything started to change. The rain stopped. At first, the villagers were not worried. "The rain will come soon." "It always does," they said. But days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The sky stayed blue and clear, and the sun grew hotter. The rivers began to dry up. The small streams turned into tiny puddles and then disappeared completely. The fields turned brown and cracked. The crops stopped growing. The villagers looked at their plants with sad eyes. One morning, a farmer named James went to his field. He bent down and touched the soil. The ground was dry and dusty. He shook his head and said, "This is bad. We need rain, or we will lose everything." James went home and told his wife, Sarah. "The crops are dying," he said. Sarah looked worried. "What can we do?" "We must save water and food." "We must be careful," she said. The village elder, Mr. Henry, called everyone to a meeting. The villagers gathered in the square. Even the children came. Mr. Henry stood up and said, "Friends, we are in trouble. There has been no rain. We must save water. Use only what you need. Do not waste food." The villagers listened carefully. They nodded and said, "We will do our best." Everyone started using less water. They drank very little in the mornings and evenings. They gave only a small amount of water to the animals. Life in the village became harder. Mothers cooked smaller meals. They told the children, "Eat slowly. We must not waste food." The children felt hungry, but they understood. "Yes, Mom. We will eat slowly," they said. One evening, a boy named David had an idea. David loved trees and nature. "I think we should plant trees. Trees can bring rain," he said. At first, the villagers didn't believe him. A man said, "Trees take a long time to grow. We need rain now." David replied, "Yes, it takes time, but if we do nothing, nothing will change. We must try something." The villagers thought about David's idea. Finally, they decided to try. The next morning, everyone in the village started planting trees. The men dug holes in the dry ground. The women carried small saplings and placed them in the holes. The children watered the trees with buckets. They worked together from morning until evening. At night, the villagers sat together. They were tired but full of hope. "We must take good care of these trees. Maybe they will help us," they said. Days turned into weeks. Every morning and evening, the villagers watered the trees. The children sang songs while they worked. They sang, "Grow, little trees, be strong. Bring the rain, bring the rain." One morning, David noticed something. A small bird was sitting on a tree. He ran to his mother and said, "Mom, look. A bird. The birds are coming back." His mother smiled and said, "This is a good sign. Maybe the rain will come soon." The villagers waited and waited. Then, one day, a little girl named Emma saw something in the sky. "Look! A cloud," she shouted. Everyone came outside. They looked up and saw a small, white cloud. The villagers felt happy. "Maybe the rain will come soon," they said. The next day, more clouds appeared. The clouds grew bigger and darker. The wind began to blow, and the air became cool. Finally, one afternoon, it started to rain. At first, only a few drops fell. Then the rain became stronger. The villagers ran outside. They laughed, danced, and shouted, "It's raining! It's raining!" The rain filled the rivers and watered the fields. The plants grew green leaves again. The animals were happy and healthy. After the rain, the villagers planted more trees. They decided to save water and protect the land. We have learned an important lesson. We must take care of nature, they said. From that day on, the village became green and alive again. Whenever it rained, the children danced and said, "Thank you, trees."